I got to think of where to even begin with this. So I have two computers going to facilitate this live broadcast. I have my laptop here, which is actually hosting the webinar. There's the live room. You'll notice the camera is at a funny angle because the camera is over here. That way it's catching the whole teaching area right there. Everybody's actually going to be sitting in the back of the studio and all around. So we'll probably do an occasional, additional view or something like that, or I'll log in with my phone too and walk around the room and let people say hi and that sort of stuff. But that is got the camera going right there, and then the MikTek Procast is set up, and they're both patched into the side of the laptop, and that's really key because the MikTek is giving us this built-in mic on number one, which we can mute on and off if we want to. Plus over here on the window here, if you do Apple D, you can mute the mic, the audio send on and off from this computer. And we're actually capturing this 57 at the same time coming from the other guy, and I'll get into that in just one sec. But that's using the MikTek as well. Then additionally, we have the second computer. My main studio computer is doing Pro Tools, and we're using, as you can see, we're using the HDX Pro Tools interface to listen to Pro Tools. But on the back of Pro Tools, we have another rig going in order to, this is not actually going to be used. We're actually using the 2626. Come on, light. Give me light. All right, so there it is. So on the back of Pro Tools, we have those SPDIF cables right there. Those SPDIF cables are coming out of the first Pro Tools, and then they go down here to this 2626 unit. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that guy is, the 2626 has the output of Pro Tools is coming into in ADAT Optical B. So that's what's key. ADAT Optical B is the input to the 2626 in order to get the light pipe going into the 2626. And the 2626, that's all we need from it. We're not actually listening to the output. But then you come over here to the audio input, and I got to put this down for a sec to do it. Okay, the audio input up there is, you see it's on Profire 2626, and then the input is optical port B is SPDIF, so that's important. Then you go over here to the M-Audio Profire interface, and you go up here and you'll see that optical port B is channel 1 and 2 here on input channel order. So that's really important too. And then on the mixer, you'll see, actually honestly, I don't even know if the mixer was really necessary, but I changed that to SPDIF optical port B in left and right. And so when you press Pro Tools, press play in Pro Tools. I'm afraid to say hi. Whenever you're nearby. You'll see when I press play in Pro Tools, that was sending the audio to the optical thing. So now the 2626 is seeing optical input, so that's great. Then you go to, gosh, am I forgetting anything else? Then you go to Google Hangouts. And Hangouts was, oh, and I'm still broadcasting. All right, cool. Well, at least I'll have two places to reference this. Hangouts here, I can stop my screen share, but the Hangouts here is logged in, also on Recording Studio Rockstars, also as an admin to the webinar. So I'm actually a double admin on the webinar. And you see I've got two different windows down here. So I can, I think the other one is controlling the actual admin, but I don't know if I'm both trying to do these. I do know that on the other guy up here on my laptop, since I started it from the laptop when I was doing this, it was helping Josh, who was watching this actual webinar on his end, he was logged in watching the YouTube live event, so that's how he was watching, that he was actually able to see the screen share switching the way it was supposed to. So I think it was working, and we'll see. So I don't know what would happen if I try to do it from here, but just don't try and do it from the studio computer. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me zoom back out again. Sorry about that. And then let's see. So we're screen sharing. I had screen shared here. That was doing that. The audio. So the audio for this guy, no camera, but the audio input was 2626. 2626. So was the output. Doesn't necessarily matter because we're not listening to the output, but I just want to make sure we weren't feeding any sounds accidentally back to this guy if we got into computer output and get feedback. So the 2626 was not patched. And this is in studio mode, so that gives us the higher quality too. And then there you go. Then up on this guy, this original admin webinar computer was not in studio mode. It was actually in voice mode, which means that you get a much better signal on these mics and everything's kind of like, keeps everything nice and loud, which is great. Now we get into the complex stuff. So in order to have a mic, what we found was that this microphone, when this was on, and then we would press Pro Tools is feeding audio from the mix. This one is feeding audio from this microphone, or basically that interface. And when this mic was on, Josh was experiencing double echoes and really bad sounds and confusing stuff because Google Hangouts is trying to like boost this mic, but it's also trying to let high-res audio through here, and it was all messing up and not working well. So what we did is we decided to mute this mic. So this, you can see this one is muted for now. It could be unmuted anytime we're just doing talking, but if we want to be using the computer over there, then we need to have this mic muted for a while. And instead, I set up a 57, which is in the control room, and this could be turned into a condenser mic, something that would pick up the room better. In fact, we could set up a whole bunch of mics in different spots in the room if we wanted to be able to even have like a question mic or really be able to hear what people said. But this may or may not work, and I'll hear when I watch the playback. Josh said it was working, so it's probably good to go. Now you zoom in on Pro Tools and you'll see what I did. At the very top of the screen, you'll see I made a track called, here, I'll zoom in here. Sorry guys, hold on. On the top of the screen, you'll see I made a track called Tone. And Tone is an audio track that goes from the beginning of the song all the way to the end of the song. And the way I did that is I selected across Pro Tools, and then I did Shift Option 3 to generate a region that was the length of the song. And then I went to Audio Suite, Signal Generator, and just said Generate Tone. And I think I set the tone at like, I don't even remember what the level is, -8 or -10 or something like that. So it's pretty hot. It's not all the way hot, but it's definitely pretty hot. Then this track is routed to bus 24. And then I made an aux input below that called TalkBack, which is solo safe, TalkBack mic. And it has two instances of the Pro limiter, which is jacked all the way up. Oh, it's not actually jacked all the way up. I guess I backed it off a little bit because I was getting some feedback. So, but I don't know, I could probably turn it up even more, you know, who knows. But basically the Pro limiter is there, and then a second instance of the Pro limiter right after that. So what this in effect does is it creates the equivalent of a TalkBack mic in a SSL or something. So it's super squash, so you can hear anybody in the room from anywhere, and it sounds great. And then after that, I put this plugin on, which, here, let me zoom back out a little bit. This plugin, which I guess I could have used another instance of the Pro limiter if I set it up that way, but this one is set to be on sidechain, and then the bus 24 is the input. So what that means is that every time I press play in Pro Tools, it sends that tone over to this sidechain and it just squashes it. It's all the way down and it's max so that it actually, the level drops of this mic in here just drops down to -60 as soon as I'm doing that. If I press play and talk, you can see the gain reduction just cranks down 60 dBs and then lets go when I press stop. There it is. There's that hysteresis. Look at that. Cool. All right, so that's what that does. So basically that means that it's causing this mic to be open and letting signal through, and you can see there's not a lot of signals showing, but we don't need a ton of signals showing because of where it's going. No rhyme intended. But when I press play, that signal should just drop down to nothing. You can see the green just goes away. It's playing right now. And the gain reduction went all the way down. So cool trick for play control of this mute switch. And then next up is, you'll notice that this track is not going to the 2-mix. Very important. If it goes to the 2-mix, we potentially have a feedback problem from this mic going into the speakers. Maybe not, since the levels are not that hot, but it's actually going to Pro Tools output 16, which means that it's routing out here over at the patch bay. I take 16 out, I run it down here, come out through the guest bay, come out on a guitar cable, and that guitar cable goes all the way up into the back of the SST. And then that SST is on line input for mic 2, and it's unmuted and levels at the same as this. So basically that's one of the reasons why this level had to be low, because it was screaming loud if we did a hot signal into this. And then that's feeding here, and you can see that signal right there should be coming from the 57. I'll do this, and then I'll go talk, and I'll bang on the 57. See, that was me banging on the 57, sending signal out the webinar. So then if I wanted to, if we've stopped in here and we feel like that 57 isn't doing the complete job, I can always switch this guy back on, and now we've got a second mic going in, and now I'm tapping this. And you can see that mic's going too. So that's it. So whenever we want to play audio from Pro Tools and kind of really talk and be able to talk in between takes, we do that. And whenever we want to talk over Pro Tools or just have this mic live all the time, we do that. That's the plan. I think that's everything I can think of. I think that should be good. All right, time to hang up this webinar. Peace out.